It just is pure math, right? Maybe we live in a mathematical universe. The other approach, and this is close to Russell's approach, was to think, well, that fills out those mathematical structures.
Right.
So I disagree with Max Tegmark that it's just pure math. It's consciousness that breathes fire into the equations.
So the concept of consciousness, if you go back to the beginning of life, we had basically had a bunch of amino acids and chemicals, and eventually, somehow, some way, through some process, it became a single-celled organism.
Mm-hmm.
When did consciousness emerge? Does it emerge then, when you have this organism that's single-celled? Did it emerge where there's multi-celled organisms, where it started to split? Did it emerge when it started to move? And did it emerge when...
At the fundamental level of reality, the question is, when did it arrive higher up? I mean, so I said panpsychism had something of a heyday in the 19th century. Pretty early after Darwin, many philosophers and scientists saw the connection between Darwinism and panpsychism. So William James, for example, thought, on a panpsychist view, what natural selection does is take very simple forms of consciousness and molds them into more complex forms of consciousness, right? Whereas if you're not a panpsychist, you've got to have this story of, you're getting more and more complex matter, and then suddenly at some point a miracle happens and consciousness emerges, and you've got this mystery of, why has that emerged? If that by asking people how they're feeling while you're scanning the brain. That's a really important project, although there are challenges, as we've discussed already. But that's important data, but that's not going to get you a full theory of consciousness. Because what we ultimately want from a theory of consciousness is an explanation of why. Why do certain kinds of brain activity go along with experience? And because consciousness is not publicly observable, that's